I want to welcome everybody tonight for the 4th Annual Trooper and Dispatcher of the Year Banquet. This is really and truly one of my favorite days of the year, where we honor and recognize our great employees. Every year, like Jessica said, we work to make this event a little nicer, a little more meaningful, a little more motivating in the way we honor the great work and the achievement of the THP. If you look at how the event has grown, with over 300 people here tonight, with this great facility, these impressive and prestigious awards, and we top it off with probably the most requested and popular speaker in the state of Tennessee, I want to officially welcome Coach Butch Jones to the Tennessee Highway Patrol family tonight. With Coach Jones here, I think we have officially gone from good to great, and I have no idea how we'll top it off next year. The pressure is really on, and I'm starting to worry already. The purpose of the event tonight is really twofold. First, we seek as an organization to reward and recognize the great work accomplished by our troopers and dispatchers during the 2014 year. The second purpose, and just as important, is to motivate our employees to work even harder, to encourage them to work toward department goals so they can have a seat at one of these tables. Everyone who gets here wants to come back, and others who hear about this event strive to get here. 2/3 of this year's winners are new this year, and many past winners have been promoted to leadership positions. Let me demonstrate how effective that has been. In 2011, the first year of the banquet, the top 10 DUI enforcers arrested 699 DUIs. This year, the top 10 arrested 1,119 DUIs. In 2013, the first year we recognized the seatbelt awards, the top 10 wrote 8,667 seatbelt citations. This year, the top 10 wrote over 12,000 seatbelt citations. So you can clearly see what a motivating factor this event has become. With that additional enforcement, we become a safer state every day, saving lives one stop at a time. I want to close my comments by thanking every trooper and dispatcher for their hard work during the year 2014. You've contributed to the second lowest fatality year since 1963. You've made us a nationally recognized award winner and an example for other state police organizations around the country. I also want to thank the supervisors who are here tonight and all across the state who carry out our programs and goals and policies into the field. It takes all of us working hard in our roles to make this a success and save lives in Tennessee. Our job and our duty are really a great privilege and almost a religious experience. We risk it all. We pour our heart into our work. We work every day and night and sacrifice our personal life to save others, to improve the quality of life in Tennessee. This past year, you did it better than it's been done in 50 years and contributed to the safest 4-year period in 5 decades. Thank you and have a great night. I'd like to recognize just a few special guests that we have here tonight. The Chief of Staff for the Department of Safety and Homeland Security is Dave McGriff. Dave, would you please stand, just say hello? Dave is a former Metro Washington, D.C. police officer, Memphis police officer, and head of the West Tennessee Drug Task Force in Shelby County. And Dave was a former interim deputy commissioner in the Department of Safety. Assistant Commissioner David Perkey is also here with his wife. David, you can stand somewhere. There you are, David. Thank you for being here. As you know, David is a former trooper, TBI agent, and county mayor, and now the Director of Homeland Security and the Deputy Commissioner of TEMA. Assistant Commissioner Lori Bullard, who is over our Driver Services Division. Lori is a retired precinct commander from the Memphis PD with over 25 years of law enforcement experience. With Coach Jones tonight is the Director of Football Operations, Chris Bargnati. Thank you, Chris, for making sure Coach got here tonight. Retired members of the THP command staff are also here. Lieutenant Colonel retired J.R. Perry, retired Major Phil Harden, retired Lieutenant Colonel Dean Hurley, and I think, did Albert Strother make it in? I knew he was supposed to be here. Thank you all for being here. You make it great to see you again. One of my very special guests is retired Colonel Charlie Danner, one of my heroes and the colonel of the THP in 1967 to 1975. Charlie, where are you? Also here is the former commissioner and former colonel of the THP, Bill Jones. Colonel Jones. Colonel Jones promoted me to sergeant, so it's his fault that I'm up here tonight if you want to blame him. Former Commissioner Denny King was scheduled to be here. Denny, yes, sir. Thank you for being here. And he's Jeff Cooper from FMCSA. Jeff, thank you for being here. Shandy Smith from Governor's Highway Safety, who is representing our great partner, Kendall Poole. Shandy, thank you for being here. Jeff Miller is our great partner from Motorola and has worked with us so hard on our radio system. Jeff, I know you're out here. There he is over there. Deputy Police Chief Mike Bowen and Major Eric Cook from the Murfreesboro Police Department. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. And the Sheriff of Rutherford County, Robert Arnold. Thank you, Robert, for being here. I also want to recognize last year's Trooper of the Year, Sergeant Vinny Tarosi. Vinny, I know, is out here somewhere. Where are you, Vinny? There he is, right over there. Now I would like to introduce the Commissioner of Safety. Bill Gibbons is a man that earned his respect in law enforcement community with his work as a district attorney in Shelby County for 14 years before being appointed Safety Commissioner. He has served as our commissioner for the last 4 years and has agreed to work with Governor Haslam in his second term. I have to honestly say that I learn something every time I'm around him. The Department of Safety and Homeland Security has really never been in better hands. Would you please welcome Commissioner Bill Gibbons?
Well, thank you very much, Colonel Trott. First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here for a very, very special occasion. Now, many of you have heard me say this before, but for the benefit of Coach Jones in particular, I want to point out that I do carry in my pocket every day a THP challenge coin. And Coach Jones, I do this for 2 reasons. First of all, I am proud of my association with our state troopers across the state. They are the premier law enforcement officials in our state. They are Tennessee's finest. So that's one reason I carry that challenge coin with me every day. The second reason is to remind me of the sacrifices that I know our state troopers as well as their family members make on a regular basis. Now we're here tonight to honor a number of troopers as well as some of our dispatchers for their good works in 2014. I would be remiss if I did not also observe that troopers across this state, as well as dispatchers, really once again showed their dedication to the people of our state over the last 10 days or so when we were facing some very severe weather conditions. Troopers across this state were on the front line in helping stranded motorists as well as others across our state and also responding to numerous weather-related accidents, some of them very, very serious. So it's one more example of the dedication that our state troopers as well as our dispatchers have to this state. But again, tonight we're here really primarily to recognize those for their service last year. But just in the last 10 days, once again, it's an indication of the true public servants that they are. 3 years ago, we set up a private foundation to support the Department of Safety and Homeland Security, to do some things through some private funds that we're not in a position to do through our regular budget. And that is everything from helping purchase equipment and things to help our state troopers. A good example of that is the bullet-resistant outer shells that our troopers now have. Also, it was set up to help troopers as well as other employees who may be facing a personal crisis, whether it be a house burning down or a medical crisis. Those kinds of things that we really can't use our state budget for, but situations where troopers as well as other employees might need some help. So we set up that private foundation with the support of Governor Haslam, and I'm very glad that we have some of our board members here tonight, and I want to recognize them. I will ask that they stand. First of all, the chairman of our board for the foundation, Reverend Fred Detweiler. Fred, if you would stand. And we also have, applause will be fine. And we also have 3 other board members, and I will ask them to stand as I call their names. First of all, Billy Atkins, Gary Taylor, and someone that Colonel Trott recognized as a former commissioner, Denny King. So I wanted to recognize all of them, if you could give them a round of applause. Let me close by once again thanking all of you for being here tonight for a very, very special occasion where we have an opportunity to recognize some of our troopers and dispatchers for the very, very good work they do for the people of our state. So thank you for being here.
At this time, I'd like to ask retired Lieutenant Colonel Dean Hurley to come forward and give us the blessing, please.
Let us speak to our Lord tonight. Father God, just how precious it is that you give us this privilege to come to you at our moment, our time when we want to. What a privilege it is, Lord, that we can come to you and that you hear our voices and that you honor our request according to your will. Tonight, Lord, what this night stands for with the men and women, the troopers across the state, the dispatchers across the state, we just pray for their safety, Father, for their health, for their determination to continue to be the best that they can. Not only for the department, Father, but for the citizens of the people that come across and into the state, that we keep them safe, Lord, that when people travel across the roads of Tennessee, they feel very safe, Father, knowing these officers are out there and dispatchers are answering calls in the manner that they do. Father, we know that they carry weapons on their side in the trunk of their cars to keep them safe, but we know ultimately you are our protector, Lord. That when they answer these calls, when the dispatchers get calls of stress, that they turn to you first on their way of responding to the calls. For we acknowledge you as creator of the universe, Father. Now, this food that you're allowing us to have tonight, Lord, we just asked, first of all, thanking you for it, and just ask that you'll bless it, Father, that you'll bless the food. May it be a nourishment to our bodies. We ask all these things in our coming Lord's name, Jesus. Amen.
After a very successful coaching stop at Western Michigan and the University of Cincinnati, Coach Jones was hired to rebuild the University of Tennessee volunteer football program. That job is well underway with a winning season, another great recruiting class, and the Gator Bowl championship. Coach Jones loves law enforcement. His dad was a longtime police chief in Michigan, and his uncle was a Michigan State Police District Commander. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest speaker tonight, head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, Butch Jones.
Well, good evening. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be with you tonight in this great evening. And this is a thrill for me because my father was my hero. And if I wasn't the head football coach of the University of Tennessee, I'd be a police officer. And so it is a great, great thrill to be here tonight. And when I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I started thinking about the parallels between law enforcement or football, or the many parallels between the Tennessee Highway Patrol and Tennessee football, I started thinking of a lot of adjectives. I started thinking about a lot of core values in life that are very, very critical. And the word I kept hearing all night, and Colonel kept speaking about it, is the term leadership. And all leadership is influence. That's why there's positive leaders and that's why there's negative leaders. But everything that you accomplish stems from leadership. Patience. You have to display great patience with your work. In my profession, dealing with 17 to 22-year-old individuals, you try to raise them like your own children. But as we all know, your children mature a little bit differently, and no two of your kids are ever the same. And I have three boys, 18, 13, and 8, and they're all different. And I am proud to say that my oldest will be attending the University of Tennessee, so we're very excited about that. The other thing is gut instincts, relying on your gut. And you've been through everything, and the reason why you get to where you are, the reason why you're at this banquet tonight, is you relied on your gut instincts. And it's the ability also to rely on your training. We talk to our players all the time. You're training your habits so you can react instinctively. And that's what training does. But relying on your gut, relying on your training, relying on your instincts. Situational awareness, very, very important. We talk to our players all the time the difference between inward focused and outward focused. In your line of profession, if you're inward focused, you're in trouble. You have to be outward focused all the time. You have to be aware of your environment, your situational awareness with everything that comes with it. And it's just like with us, I love reading body language. I love studying human nature. I love studying human behavior. My father taught me that. And I rely a lot on my gut instincts with everything that we do and the way we run the Tennessee football program. Serving the community. Everything is about service. My father taught me that a very, very long time ago. And for us, it's being champions in the community. It's giving back to everything that we do. We always talk to our players in terms, the logo never comes off. You can put your civilian clothes on, but the power T never leaves you. Being a state trooper, it never leaves you. It's always with you. You may not have your badge on, but you always have your badge on. Teamwork. A lot of these individuals tonight will be recognized, but I think they'll be the first to tell you that they couldn't do it without their teammates. So much of individual accomplishments are born because of teamwork. Teamwork is everything. Toughness. I call it Tennessee tough, T-tough. And there's three things that we talk about in our football program about toughness. The first one is mental toughness. The second is physical toughness. And the third is emotional toughness. And your mood dictates everything. It dictates your temperament at work. It dictates how you deal with people on a day-to-day basis. And then the ability to handle and solve other people's problems. A lot of times you have to be a great manager. That's part of leadership. Colonel and I were talking about, just commanding a group of individuals, and everyone has their own dynamics and everyone has their own personalities. And it was like when I was hiring an offensive coordinator, I knew what we needed. And, everyone in Vol Nation wanted me to go out and hire the highest priced offensive coordinator in the country. That's not what Tennessee football needed. And I relied on my gut instincts, and we needed the right fit for our players, the right fit for our coaching staff. And then sacrifice. so much that goes into being successful is a willingness to sacrifice. And I think that's one of the missing ingredients in today's society. The generation that we're dealing with is called Generation Y. I put an I in front of it. Generation I, Y. Why? iPhones, iPads, iPods. It's the selfie generation. And everything is about I. And images are the language of the 21st century. And I talked to our team a little bit about today. Your life is two things. Your life is either a river or a flood. And ironically, Cam Sutton tweeted that today. If you visualize a river is bounded by two boundaries. It flows in harmony and it flows in one direction. That's the illustration of an individual who has no clutter and distraction in their life. They're focused, they're determined, they're goal-oriented. Then the other individual is their life is a flood. When you think of a flood, there's water everywhere. That's an individual who has a lot of clutter and distractions, not goal-oriented. And we talk to our players all the time about you're either a river or a flood. But the sacrifice, when you look at the rate of the academy and troopers making it out, and about 40%, I believe, make it out. And it's easy in today's society to quit. And we spoke to our team all last year that we were digging for gold. And if you saw our players in the Vanderbilt game, they started like taking a shovel and they kept doing this. Derek Barnett kept doing it all game. And we talked about we were digging for gold, and the illustration was so many people quit when if they just took one more shovel, they'd reach gold. And so many times individuals quit when success is imminent. Success is right there, but it's easy to quit in today's society. And I commend you for the sacrifice that you bring to the great state of Tennessee and this entire organization. I grew up in a law enforcement family like the Colonel spoke about. My dad was my hero. He was the chief of police for 30 some odd years when we grew up. And my greatest moments was as a kid growing up, in between shifts, the police officers would come to my dad's house. And I'd be about 4, 5, 6 years old, and they'd smoke cigarettes, talk about the problems of the night, and drink coffee back then. And so I had my own little coffee cup with water and those old those candy cigarette candies that they used to sell. And my uncle, who was a post commander in the Michigan State Police, his wife made me my police uniform when I was 5 years old. I had the real thing, the gun belt, all that. I can tell you numerous stories. One time, my thrill was I'd go play in the police car. While everyone else was out playing, I'd go play in the police car. Well, I have two fond memories. One, my dad was somewhere, and I managed to find how to turn the sirens on, and we lived in a small community, and it just so happened there was a tornado warning at the time. So everybody thought that a tornado was coming. Another time, I had my own billy club. I forgot and left the billy club under the seat. They had picked up someone. They had him in the back of the patrol car, and the billy club rolled underneath the seat to where the individual in the back seat was. So that was an interesting conversation, to say the least. And then probably the last memory was my mom and dad went on vacation, and I went and I took my dad's handcuffs, out of his holster and snuck them to my cousins and locked my cousin up, and they didn't have the key. So they had to call a bunch of officers to come over and get him out of his handcuffs. But, so much of everything that goes into it is the sacrifice of the families. And I was telling Colonel, just like football is a way of life, law enforcement is a way of life. And one of the events that really changed my life, my father was a tough love individual. And you talk about the adversity that families go through in law enforcement. I was a freshman at college, and I was making my first career start. And I'll never forget it. We're in a team meeting, and I looked over and I saw, it was a Friday, I looked over, I saw my father and my grandfather's best friend. My grandfather was my second dad, and we were extremely close. And about this time of year, my grandparents would drive down to Florida, and I looked over, and my gut told me something wasn't right, but I tried to talk myself out of it, and I said, they're just here because they're excited for the game tomorrow. And the head coach at the time came over, and he's crying, and he says, your dad's here, and he's going to take you back home. And I said, is everything okay? And he says, no. So my father takes me in, and he says, your grandfather passed away today. He's dead, and we're going to take you home. So my dad didn't tell me anything. Well, what I found out is my father went home for lunch. He's sitting at home. It's about noontime. My grandfather which is his father, wants to go get a flashlight down at the local hardware store. It was cold that day. It's never cold in Michigan, but it happened to be cold that day. So he leaves the car running. The car jumps in reverse and runs him over. And so the car is sitting on top of my grandfather, and my father gets a call that a gentleman has been struck and killed downtown. So my dad gets in his car and he goes. Lo and behold, he arrives at the scene, and there's his own father laying on the ground with the car on top of him. And my dad blamed himself about 10 years because he couldn't pick the car up. But it changed our family dynamics because it really taught me about telling people you love them. And it changed everything. And so I use that illustration in life the way I raised my 3 boys. But again, the sacrifices, you put your lives on the line every single day to protect our community. You're the real heroes. And I mean that sincerely. So I greatly appreciate everything that you do. We live in a result-oriented world. I call it a sports center society. Everybody goes home, and the only thing they see are the highlights. They do not see all the training that went into it. They don't see you all in the academy. They don't see all the behind-the-scenes things. I always talk about it's the little things that no one sees that becomes the big things that everyone wants. And it's the small things. It's the small details by the way you live your life. And I know tonight is about honoring service, excellent results, and teamwork. And I'd like to spend just 1 or 2 minutes with you about culture. Everything is about a culture. And we arrived at Tennessee. We had too many individuals in our football organization that loved the power of the T. They didn't love the power T. They loved the power of the T that came with it, the parties, the vol walk, running through the T. But they didn't have an affinity for the power T. They didn't have an affinity for what they represent in this great state on a daily basis. And I found that out early. And so we had to build an affinity. We had to build a culture. We had to build a mindset, a passion, an energy for Tennessee football in this great state. And so my off-season project has been defining our culture. Are we living up to our culture? Because really, in every great organization, it's culturally centered. Everything is about a culture. It's having like-minded people. I told our staff, I want like-minded people. I told Team 119, we need like-minded people. Every person must understand that they represent and they own the culture. You own the culture of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. You own the culture of being a state trooper. So we put 5 C's into our culture. The first one is contagious. We want people to be contagious with each other. We want passion. We want energy. We want positive energy. We want a relentless approach. And that'll transform individuals. And the individuals that don't transform, they leave because they become uncomfortable. But I want a great working environment. I love energy. I don't like energy vampires. You know, those individuals that suck the life out of you every day. You know, I always tell our staff and our players, you're either a fountain or a drain. What are you? So I want contagious people. The next one is communication, and this is the big one, is communication, the ability to communicate. Too many times text messaging, social media. This is the greatest challenge in society today. Email. I don't read emails. I do everything with face-to-face communication. I make every coach, including myself, we have candy in our offices. Why? Kids like candy. We get them in our offices. We can talk other than football. I want them coming around. But when you have communication, that develops trust. And when you have trust, it generates commitment. And when you have commitment, that fosters teamwork. So we want to be able to communicate. The next one is connection. You guys are part of a family. You got to be able to connect. You got to be able to read everyone's body language. You have to know exactly what everyone's thinking without really being able to have verbal communication. It may be nonverbal communication, but I talk about being a brotherhood of Tennessee football, everyone being accountable, and every individual being accountable for their own self-determination to be the best person, best student athlete that they can possibly be. The next one is commitment. A big word, commitment. I always talk, if you hear me talk, I always talk about pride and performance, and that's one of the words here, pride. But taking great pride in your performance. What's your edge? What makes you the best trooper in this room? Because see, your last name is your personal brand. What does your last name stand for? So we talk about pride and performance. We talk about consistency in performance. Every great individual, they have one common link. They're consistent. They're never too high. They're never too low. They just bring it every day. So we talk about that. We talk about a championship mindset and being the best at your responsibility. If you're a dispatcher, I'm going to be the best dispatcher, not in the state of Tennessee, but in the country. And that's what we talk about. We're building the best football program in the country. If our secretary is answering the phone, she's answering the phone with the best secretary in the country. It's like I'd call in and, they just say Tennessee football. I said, well, usually if people call us, especially if it's a parent, they're probably not happy. We're in customer service. So we answer our phones. It's a great day in Rocky Top, Tennessee football. And it's how you want your organization to be looked upon. And then the last one is care. Caring about the team. If you care about the team, you'll fight for it. If you care about the culture, you'll fight for it. If you care about the tradition, the future, and the present, you'll fight for it. And it's that care factor that we talk about all the time. I'm almost done here. I hope I'm not taking up too much of your time. The last thing I asked our staff to do, and we've been going through it, is I asked every member in our organization, I need a better version of you. If we could have a better version of you, if there's just one thing that could be a better version of you, just think how better our organization would be. So it has been very, very rewarding. This past week, everyone in our football organization has been getting up amongst their peers and talking about the better version of them. What's the one thing that they can make Tennessee football better? And that's been a very, very rewarding experience. Again, I want to say thank you to the families here in all the things that go into it, the many sacrifices, the many moves. A lot of times maybe you don't get to see your own children because you're on the road working the long hours. I know with the weather, all the sacrifice that you had, but I greatly appreciate all the families being here because law enforcement is a way of life just like football is. I was telling the colonel when he talked about Motorola, it brought back like instant memories. My father has since passed, but when I go back home, my mom still has her police scanner on. And she's been conditioned to that thing, and that's a way of life in the Jones household. I don't want to get emotional on this one, but Eric Miller, I'm telling you, you want a representative of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, a state trooper, it's that individual. Couldn't do my job without him. And he's a great friend, a mentor, and a role model. And he's kind of like my armor bearer everywhere I go. I've even taken him on recruiting. Now, he needs a little bit of help. We're trying to get him more socially out there and smile a little bit more and joke. So that's my next job. But, he's a great representative of what this organization stands for, and it's all about people. You know, everyone says, how can you recruit so well? I laugh. People make a place. We have great people. It's easy to sell when you have a passion for what you're doing, and I don't consider it selling. It's just energy. We're just following our culture. But again, if you look at your department's mission to serve, secure, and protect the people of Tennessee, in our organization, it's about giving your all for Tennessee. And I want to thank you because everyone in this room gives their all for Tennessee. Thank you, and God bless.
Obviously, Coach Jones has made a great night tonight, and I want to give him something to remember this night by. If you think about a Tennessee State Trooper, there's one thing that separates us from most law enforcement agencies and makes us instantly recognizable, and that's our hat. And I want to give Coach Jones this plaque with a Tennessee State Trooper hat on it, signed by the members of the command staff, to memorialize this night together with us. Thank you.
I was told I could come back next year if we win the SEC championship, so I'll see everyone next year. Thank you.
Now, we're going to jump out of order just a little bit, and the reason why is we're monitoring the weather very closely to make sure that Coach Jones and Chris and Eric can get back to Knoxville tonight. So I want to recognize one person that normally would be toward the end of the program where I give out the Colonel's Achievement Awards. Have you ever heard the saying that image is everything? I get to see our brand and our image every time the Tennessee Volunteers play on TV. I get to see a slim, muscular state trooper with an iron jaw and a serious demeanor, making sure that Coach Jones is secure everywhere he goes. I cannot count how many people come up to me and tell me how well that trooper represents us. And he looks like a state trooper should look. For us that know him, we know that his personality and his work ethic and his demeanor are a match for the image he portrays on TV. He survived brain surgery and a recent neck surgery and is on his way back to work, and he represents the best that the THP has to offer as not only a trooper and a family man. The Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Trooper Eric Miller. Okay, we'll get back on track now. Jessica, it's all yours for the Enforcement Awards. And we'll get started on the evening.
As always, we will start with the Dispatcher of the Year, move on to the Trooper of the Year, and then the Top Enforcement Awards. Everybody receiving award, if you'll proceed to this side of the stage to receive your award and then be photographed with the Colonel and Commissioner, that would be great. On May 2nd, 2014, at 8:20 a.m., Trooper Eric Miller was involved in a deadly force, firearms discharge, and department vehicle pursuit incident on I-75. During the stop, Dispatcher Andrew Lawson noticed that Trooper Miller was no longer speaking, but continued to key his portable radio and sounded as if he was in a struggle. Though he was unable to make contact with Trooper Miller, Andrew knew he was in trouble and used his automatic vehicle locator to determine his location and get assistance to him as quickly as possible. The situation lasted for several hours, during which time Andrew was making phone calls to relay information to other agencies while maintaining constant contact with several troopers on the scene. Congratulations to the Knoxville District Dispatcher of the Year, Andrew Lawson. Dispatcher Julia Landreth has been with our department for over 2 years and is best known for her calm demeanor in critical situations. A great example of this was during an attempted traffic stop by Trooper Gordon Roberts. When the vehicle did not stop, Trooper Roberts pursued the vehicle and ended up in an unfamiliar rural area. Julia followed her notification procedures and was able to get Trooper Roberts the assistance he needed from Bledsoe and Sequatchie County deputies, as well as additional THP personnel, which ultimately led to the capture of the subject. Congratulations to the Chattanooga Dispatcher of the Year, Julia Landreth. On September 19, 2014, Dispatcher Joshua Murphy received a call from a female passenger in a van stating that she and her boyfriend had been kidnapped. Their taxi cab driver continued beyond their requested destination, refused their request to stop, and continued out of Nashville into Murfreesboro. The caller suspected the driver was bipolar. Josh immediately dispatched Rutherford County troopers, and as soon as Trooper Quinn made contact with the vehicle, the driver crashed. The van erupted into flames, entrapping all passengers. Both victims and the driver were extracted from the vehicle. Congratulations to the Nashville District Trooper of the Year, Joshua Murphy. Dispatcher Susan Ballard goes beyond what is expected of her. She was working March 2nd, 2014, when a severe ice storm caused havoc on roadways in the Memphis district. While 2 troopers were assisting a stranded motorist on I-40, a vehicle failed to move over into the emergency lane and struck one of the patrol cars, causing it to collide with the other patrol car. Susan calmly took control of the situation, making sure EMS and additional THP units were notified and responded in a timely manner to ensure the safety of the troopers. Congratulations to the Memphis District Dispatcher of the Year, Susan Ballard. On July 15, 2014, Trooper Tyler Hall became involved in a vehicle pursuit that ultimately led to a foot pursuit. Dispatcher Doug Boone did an outstanding job relaying the information he received from Trooper Hall on his portable radio to other officers in the area, providing them with valuable information necessary to locate Trooper Hall during the foot pursuit. Congratulations to the Fall Branch District Dispatcher of the Year, Doug Boone. On October 6, 2014, around 9 p.m., Dispatcher Stacy Lawson received a call from Trooper Bramer regarding a vehicle on I-40 that initially appeared to be abandoned, but he quickly realized there was an occupant. Stacy ran the vehicle registration, and it was determined the vehicle was registered to a person other than the driver. The driver had personal information in his possession of the registered owner. Stacy decided to contact local sheriff's department in Georgia where the vehicle was registered and requested a welfare check on the owner at his home. The sheriff's department did so and determined the owner was deceased and appeared to be a homicide victim. Stacy's intuition and actions were instrumental in the apprehension and detention of the individual and put closure to a case within 48 hours of the murder taking place. Congratulations to the Cookeville District Dispatcher of the Year, Stacy Lawson. Since being promoted to dispatch supervisor, Cynthia Krause implemented a program to identify errors and correct them immediately, coaching employees to provide the proper information. Her effort has resulted in the Lawrenceburg district having a CAD error rate of only 0.4%, the lowest in the entire state. Each month, she provides every supervisor with documents presenting CAD data in a form that's easy to interpret, This information has been vital to the overall enforcement and fatality reduction success in the Lawrenceburg District. Congratulations to the Lawrenceburg District Dispatcher of the Year, Cynthia Krause. The Jackson District Dispatcher of the Year, Jesse Overman, was unable to make it tonight. Sorry. Trooper Jerry Watson has truly distinguished himself and earned the respect and admiration of his peers and supervisors. His activity last year was outstanding in all areas of enforcement and one of the highest in the Knoxville District. He issued 2,114 seatbelt and CRD citations, which is an impressive 52% more than he did last year, making him the top trooper in seatbelt enforcement statewide for the second year in a row. He also issued 3,903 total citations, made 12 arrests, 7 DUI arrests, conducted 330 commercial vehicle inspections, and investigated 170 crashes. Congratulations to Knoxville District Trooper of the Year, Trooper Jerry Watson. Trooper Stoney Morton has an intense work ethic that has become contagious among his peers. With the department's goals in mind, he excels in all areas of enforcement, contributing to making the roadways safe. His 163 DUI arrests last year made him the top trooper in DUI enforcement statewide for the second year in a row. He also had 15 felony arrests, recovered numerous stolen vehicles, and in a cooperated effort with the Chattanooga Police Department, he helped identify a known felon in the Chattanooga area who presented a risk to all citizens in the state of Tennessee. Congratulations to the Chattanooga Trooper of the Year, Trooper Stoney Morton. Since graduating from the academy 3 years ago, Trooper Alex Campbell has earned a reputation for doing things the right way. He is highly regarded by his supervisors and noticed by his fellow troopers for leading by example. He is one of the leaders in enforcement activity at the Rutherford Post and is routinely one of the top leaders for the entire Nashville district. He issued 2,008 citations last year, with 456 citations for seatbelt and CRD enforcement, made 23 DUI arrests as part of his 35 total arrests, investigated 151 vehicle crashes, including one fatal and a vehicle assault investigation. Trooper Campbell serves as a member of the Nashville District Strike Team and was continuously utilized as a primary field training officer in 2014. Congratulations to the Nashville District Trooper of the Year, Trooper Alex Campbell. Trooper Michael Bolton has shown a dedication to the goals of the department by volunteering to work on the Memphis DUI Task Force. His efforts have taken him from single-digit DUI arrests in 2013 to the 10th overall statewide last year with 86 DUI arrests. He performs his duties with respect for the violator and the integrity of the Highway Patrol in mind at all times. In December, he received an award from MAD for outstanding performance in DUI enforcement. He is also a vital part of dignitary protection details in the Memphis District and performs these duties while leaving those that he is protecting with a very positive image of what the Tennessee Highway Patrol represents. Congratulations to the Memphis District Trooper of the Year, Trooper Michael Bolton. In just 3 years with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Trooper James Nipper has become well known in the Fall Branch District for his high standard of performance, dedication to the goals of the department, and his commitment to the community he serves. He speaks to college students concerning a career in law enforcement and meets with high school students to educate them on the importance of seatbelt compliance and the tragedies of impaired drivers. For the second year in a row, he led the Fall Branch District in seatbelt CRD citations, and he also leads the district in non-moving violations, is second in drug arrest, and third in total moving violations. Congratulations to the Fall Branch District Trooper of the Year, Trooper James Nipper. Trooper Michael Robertson strives to achieve departmental goals such as reducing fatalities through aggressive DUI enforcement and seatbelt enforcement. His exceptional ability to look beyond the traffic stop is evident in the number of arrests he has made just from traffic enforcement. Last year, he made 61 DUI arrests, with 13 of them being commercial vehicle drivers. He issued 111 seatbelt and CRD citations, 176 moving violation citations, 527 non-moving violations, and performed a total of 115 commercial vehicle inspections. He had 8 felony drug cases and 118 misdemeanors. His significant traffic stops have resulted in numerous drug seizures and removed many convicted felons off of Tennessee roadways. Congratulations to the Cookeville District Trooper of the Year, Trooper Michael Robertson. Trooper Chad Staggs made 110 DUI arrests in 2014, a feat never accomplished by another trooper in the history of the Lawrenceburg District. Despite being assigned primary to a late power shift, he still managed to issue 160 nighttime seatbelt citations. He also issued 633 moving violations, 556 non-moving violations, conducted 93 commercial vehicle inspections, and investigated 69 crashes. His attention to detail within the judicial system earned him a 91% conviction rate on his 2014 DUI arrest. Congratulations to the Lawrenceburg District Trooper of the Year, Trooper Chad Staggs. Trooper Michael Sullivan is a 13-year veteran trooper assigned to Henderson County who is willing to accept without hesitation any duty or task assigned. He demonstrates the ability to look beyond the citation. During 2014, he made 155 arrests, of which 16 were felonies. He arrested 128 DUI impaired drivers, making him the top DUI enforcer in the Jackson District and second overall statewide. He investigated 76 crashes, conducted 97 commercial vehicle inspections, and issued 1,117 citations for other violations. He has shown consistent activity working the midnight shift assigned to the DUI task force to reduce crime and make the roadway safe for the public at large. Congratulations to the Jackson District Trooper of the Year, Trooper Michael Sullivan. Sergeant Michael Morgan is a second-generation trooper assigned to the Capitol Protection Unit as an explosive detective canine handler. He is constantly on guard and exhibits exceptional situational awareness. During patrol of the Capitol grounds, he has stopped a subject wanted for felony violation of probation warrants, intercepted an inmate working at the Capitol heading off property, and has also made several arrests. He has conducted numerous self-initiated and coordinated canine sweeps of vehicles, buildings, and packages throughout the year, making 779 canine sweeps, not including monthly training. Congratulations to the Administrative District Trooper of the Year, Sergeant Michael Morgan. Trooper Jeremy Miller had 42 arrests last year, which is more than any other trooper assigned to Interdiction Plus. He is in the top 3 in felony and misdemeanor drug arrests for all of Interdiction Plus. He takes the all crimes approach to heart and either leads or is second in all Interdiction Plus categories, including fugitives from justice, gun arrests, DUI, and all other criminal arrests. His main objective on any given day working the road is to locate a felon, and he recently successfully completed a 6-week THP K-9 school. Congratulations to the Interdiction Trooper of the Year, Trooper Jeremy Miller. Trooper Brad Simpson was assigned to the Identity Crimes Unit in July of 2012, and since that time has consistently demonstrated his ability to solve complex cases with minimal supervision. In addition to the ongoing investigations he opened in 2013, Trooper Simpson opened 31 new cases last year. His investigations resulted in over 200 felony arrests and 10 indictments. Through his investigations, Trooper Simpson has identified the leader of a sex trafficking ring. His investigation of a fraudulent check conspiracy utilizing the state of Tennessee's routing and account numbers resulted in the arrest of 68 subjects and the identification of the check maker. He also gives presentations on ways to protect oneself from becoming a victim of identity theft. Congratulations to the Investigator of the Year, Trooper Brad Simpson. Trooper David McDonald is assigned to the Giles County Scales. He is a level 1 in general hazmat certified, and his supervisors describe him as having a very positive attitude about the commercial vehicle program. He conducted 805 inspections last year with a total 731 out-of-service violations, which equates to an out-of-service rate of 90.8%. During the 805 inspections, he recorded 1,753 violations, which equates to 2.17 violations per inspection. Congratulations to our Commercial Vehicle Trooper of the Year, Trooper David McDonald. Hazardous. THP leadership has continued to place a heavy emphasis on the driver behaviors that contribute most to traffic crashes and fatalities. Troopers have made these areas of enforcement a priority, and their efforts have resulted in reduced fatalities and injury crashes. Last year, we expanded the areas of enforcement recognized during this ceremony. In addition to the top 10 DUI enforcers, the top 10 troopers in seatbelt enforcement, as well as the top 5 troopers in hazardous moving violations, are also recognized. The troopers who issued the most citations for hazardous moving violations in 2014 were the same 5 troopers recognized last year for the same area of enforcement. With 1,011 citations for hazardous moving violations, this Lawrenceburg District Trooper ranked 5th overall statewide. Congratulations, Trooper Ronnie Wright. Ranked 4th overall statewide, this Fall Branch District Trooper issued 1,032 hazardous moving violation citations. Congratulations, Trooper David Osborne. Despite having retired the first week of November, this Memphis District Trooper still managed to rank 3rd statewide in hazardous moving violations. Rumor has it that the Haywood County General Sessions Court might have to lay off a few employees due to his departure. His 1,392 citations are a commendable conclusion to his decade of outstanding service. Join me in congratulating Trooper Billy Jackson. Ranked 2nd overall statewide, this Knoxville District Trooper issued 1,537 hazardous moving violation citations. Congratulations, Trooper Carl Duryea. The trooper who issued the most citations for hazardous moving violations in 2014 is also from the Knoxville District. In addition to holding the top spot in this category, he also leads the state for seatbelt and CRD citations issued. With 1,571 citations, please congratulate Trooper Jerry Watson. The dedication and commitment the THP has made to occupants' safety has resulted in a 38% increase in seatbelt and CRD citations. It was an impressive team effort with substantial increases in several districts. One district in particular had a 122% increase. The top troopers in the area of seatbelt enforcement were identified by combining the total number of seatbelt and child restraint device citations written during 2014. The trooper ranked 10th overall in seatbelt enforcement is from the Nashville district. With 877 citations, please congratulate Sergeant Joe Agee. The trooper in the 9th position in this category is from the Jackson district. He issues 910 citations. Congratulations, Trooper Charles Childers. The trooper in the 8th position is from the Cookeville district. With 914 citations, please congratulate Trooper Kyle Herron. The trooper ranked 7th in seatbelt and CRD citations is from the Jackson district. He issued 1,031 citations last year. Congratulations, Trooper Terry Milholland. The trooper in the 6th position is from the Knoxville district. He issued 1,041 seatbelt CRD citations last year. Congratulations, Trooper Stephen Barclay. The trooper in the 5th position, representing the Cookeville district, issued 1,060 citations. Congratulations, Trooper Jacob Gross. The trooper who issued the 4th most seatbelt CRD citations in 2014 is from the Fall Branch District. He issued 1,090 citations. Congratulations, Trooper James Nipper. The top 3 seatbelt enforcers in 2013 were also the top 3 troopers for 2013. The trooper in the 3rd position, representing the Nashville district, issued 1,382 citations. Congratulations, Trooper Billy Smith. The trooper who issued the 2nd most seatbelt citations is also from the Nashville district. He was ranked 3rd overall last year, but managed to overtake the runner-up spot from Billy by issuing 1,587 citations. Congratulations, Trooper Buddy Head. The trooper who issued the most seatbelt citations in 2014 is from the Knoxville district. He has over 27 years of service to the CHP. This is his 2nd consecutive year as the top seatbelt and CRD enforcer in the state, and his outstanding enforcement efforts earned him the title of the Knoxville District Trooper of the Year. He issued 2,114 seatbelt and CRD citations last year. Congratulations, Trooper Jerry Watson. So many troopers have focused their attention on identifying and arresting impaired drivers. DUI arrests were up 30% last year, evidence of another outstanding team effort. Every district had a significant increase in DUI arrest, ranging from at least a 12% increase up to a 120% increase. The top 10 troopers we're about to recognize accounted for 13% of the total DUI arrests made by the THP in 2014. 5 years ago, 100 DUI arrests would easily put a trooper at the top of this list, but today those 100 arrests just barely get you in the top 10. Each year, you raise the bar for your fellow troopers, and each year, we are blown away by the number of impaired drivers that you hard chargers arrest and remove from Tennessee roadways. We see many of those hard chargers move on to other opportunities or get promoted. I know several of the sergeants here tonight in support of their troopers once coveted a spot in this top 10. Every time someone moves on or gets promoted, another trooper or troopers step up and quarterback the team. The trooper with the 10th most DUI arrests from 2014 is from the Memphis district. With 86 DUI arrests, please congratulate Trooper Michael Bolton. The trooper with the 9th most DUI arrests is also from the Memphis district, with 88 DUI arrests. Congratulations, Trooper Owen Greer. The trooper with the 8th most DUI arrests is from the Nashville district. He made 89 DUI arrests in 2014. Congratulations, Trooper Shane Roberts. The trooper with the 7th most DUI arrest is from the Knoxville district. With 101 DUI arrests, please congratulate Trooper William Satterfield. The trooper who made the 6th most DUI arrests statewide last year is from the Chattanooga district. He made 102 DUI arrests. Congratulations, Trooper Tommy Lyles. The trooper with the 5th most DUI arrests is from the Lawrenceburg district. He made 110 DUI arrests. Congratulations, Trooper Chad Staggs. The trooper with the 4th most DUI arrests is from the Jackson district. He made 125 arrests. Congratulations, Trooper Adam Cash. The trooper with the 3rd most DUI arrests is from the Fall Branch district. He made 127 DUI arrests last year. Congratulations, Trooper Vince Mullins. The trooper with the 2nd most DUI arrests is from the Jackson district. He was your Jackson District Trooper of the Year, and he made 128 DUI arrests last year. Congratulations, Trooper Michael Sullivan. As a graduate of Cadet Class 512, the trooper who made the most DUI arrests in 2014 has only had 2 full calendar years working the road. He was the top DUI enforcer statewide last year, and the 163 DUI arrests he made in 2014 have earned him that title, as well as the title of Chattanooga District Trooper of the Year for the 2nd year in a row. Congratulations, Trooper Stoney Morton.
We have one Lifesaver award to give tonight. This award goes to any employee who performs an act that is directly responsible for saving the precious life of another human being. In most cases, these acts involve incredible bravery and human compassion. This year's award winner is no different. On October 14th, 2014, the Pigeon Forge area had experienced heavy rain, flash flooding in many areas. Several roads were closed with heavy currents moving over the roadway. A 75-year-old motorist and his wife became stranded in their vehicle in the fast-moving and rising water. Calls were made to a swift water rescue team, but there was no time. The vehicle began to shift in the current, and the passengers became frantic. Our trooper, along with a Pigeon Forge police officer, took off their gun belts and gear and entered the water. They secured the vehicle with a rope and removed the passengers from the vehicle to safety. Their actions certainly saved the lives of this elderly couple. It's my honor to present the Lifesaver Award to Trooper Jason Sherrod of the Knoxville District. We're recognizing a lot of great work tonight by dispatchers and state troopers. I want to take the opportunity to recognize a few people that have made a great contribution to the success we've experienced and enhanced our organization. If you don't know how we have a certain way to decide on the Trooper and Dispatcher of the Year awards, it's a majority vote of the command staff after considering the nominations from the district captains. Most of the time, I seem to be on the losing end of that vote, although I was on the winning end this year. So I decided I would have my own awards and give the Colonel's Achievement Awards where I could not be outvoted. The first Colonel's Achievement Award goes to a person who dedicated 18 months to a single project and made us all look like superstars. We had a little event in 2014 called the National Governors Conference in Nashville, and we had over 30 governors, their families, staffs, along with many VIPs, who descended on Nashville in late July. The THP was the lead agency for all security. We used 25% of our total workforce, making sure that the event was safe and our guests were well taken care of. To go into all the details of this job would take all night, but it was performed with precision and professionalism and demonstrated the great abilities of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. The Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Major Danny Talley. Sometimes acronyms become stressful, little dirty words that stand for things that we must do, but we don't look forward to doing. The CALIA accreditation program is that kind of project. We constantly measure, evaluate, and track a multitude of things within our organization to maintain a professional accreditation with the gold standard of police organizations. We are one of 29 state police organizations to be accredited by CALIA and have been since 1999. The majority of that responsibility has fallen on one person for the past 15 years. Major Betty Blair has made us into a better department with her hard work and her dedication to this process. Along with this responsibility, she functions as the executive officer in the colonel's office. She is the first female to be promoted to the rank of major in the history of the THP. The Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Major Betty Blair. The next award goes to a person who never stops contributing to the THP. Over a long 35-year career, he filled many roles, but made his mark in the area of training. He was a captain and director of the THP Training Center for many years before working in the colonel's office as a major. I had the great opportunity to promote him to lieutenant colonel before his retirement several years ago. His contribution did not end there. He has continued to work for us part-time, training our troopers with driving and shooting simulators. And now we have placed him in charge of our Tim's Track training program. He shows up almost every day for work at our training center, working for the department and getting paid for a little of that time. He's one of the most respected members of our organization. The Colonel's Achievement Award goes to retired Lieutenant Colonel J.R. Perry. Support personnel play such an important role in the success of any organization, and ours is no different. The Lieutenant Colonel's office has taken on such a greater role in managing the field operation and administrative bureaus. All secondary employment, all transfer requests, all purchasing, all training, travel requests, promotional interviews, and a multitude of other responsibilities come through that office. Right now, there's one person handling all those administrative and clerical duties. She does this with a tremendous work ethic and dedication. We have to make her go home at night, and she comes in occasionally on weekends. She is a calm voice, a great worker, and a valuable team member. She's going to kill me tonight, but the Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Barbara Bingham. Barbara told me I had it coming. Now it's time to award the District of the Year. This is a coveted award that spurs competition between captains and districts to perform better and accomplish more. This year's winner will take home a flag representing the District of the Year and display it until this time next year. In past years, the decision was fairly easy. This year, 3 districts were very close in competition for the award. It was a very difficult decision. I usually make this decision on my own, but this year the competition was so close that I had to enlist the help of the lieutenant colonels to assist me with the vote. The District of the Year had a great year in safety and enforcement. At the beginning of each year, we set goals for each district to achieve. In 2014, only 1 district achieved all of those goals. The district reduced crashes from 2 to 9% in all categories and reduced fatalities by 11.3%. DUI arrests by troopers increased 29%, and seatbelt citations increased by 122%. Their scale facility had an out-of-service rate for drivers of 11% and out-of-service truck rate for 41%. These rates are way above the national average. The captain has been very innovative with enforcement programs and motivating troopers to improve their performance. The District of the Year is Fall Branch. And the Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Captain Steve Street. I think it's over here. The next 2 awards will finish the night. They are the Statewide Dispatcher and Trooper of the Year. They are very prestigious. Each receives an impressive Eagle Trophy, which has been sponsored by the Department of Safety and Homeland Security Foundation. Along with the trophy, the Trooper of the Year receives a ring from Jostens, and the Dispatcher of the Year receives a medallion. To help me present these awards, I'd like to invite the Chairman of the Department of Safety and Homeland Security Foundation to the stage. Please welcome a great supporter of the THP, Mr. Fred Detweiler.
Well, thank you. I can hardly tell you how honored I feel to be involved with the Highway Patrol. But I know that we can help you more than we are now, and I want to propose something to you. Also, to point out that we are still in our infancy. And like most infants, we have some frustrations, some growth problems and issues. But usually, as you attain certain things, you grow and you prosper. So I want to challenge you, all of you, to help us in a certain way, 2 ways actually. One, I want you to give us suggestions as to how you think we can grow better, faster. And also want to ask you to give us requests on ways in which we can help. Now, I have a peculiar statement to make, which is audacious goals usually are pretty difficult, but they're attainable. Impossible goals just take longer. So with that perspective, I know we can grow and grow very effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Troopers often refer to their dispatcher as their lifeline. This certainly was the case in this situation. For the work in the deadly force incident involving Trooper Eric Miller, the 2014 Statewide Dispatcher of the Year goes to Andrew Lawson of the Knoxville District. For the last award of the night, I'd like to invite the 2013 Trooper of the Year, Sergeant Vinnie Tarosi, to the stage to present the Trooper of the Year ring. This year, we've added something special to the Trooper of the Year award. Thanks to Mr. Detweiler and the Department of Safety and Homeland Security Foundation, the Trooper of the Year will accompany me and the Lieutenant Colonels to the IACP National Convention in Chicago this fall. I want to express my appreciation for the Foundation for their great support of the THP. On many occasions, the Trooper of the Year arises out of a single extraordinary event. This year is different, as we recognize someone who has given maximum effort for the entire year to achieve department goals and make Tennessee a safer place. This trooper has had an outstanding career for 12 years, but his work in 2014 demonstrated a commitment to public safety in so many of our priority areas. He looks beyond the citation with 155 arrests, 16 of those were felonies, arrested 128 DUIs, and was recognized in the top 10 tonight. He investigated 76 crashes, 97 commercial vehicle inspections, and issued over 1,100 citations. The 2014 Statewide Trooper of the Year Award goes to Trooper Michael Sullivan of the Jackson District. As we close tonight, I want to thank everybody for coming. I know the weather is a big concern for everybody getting home tonight. Having Coach Jones here and all of you has made it truly a special evening for all of us. We look forward to next year and getting to honor many more outstanding acts and work for the Tennessee Highway Patrol. I wish you a great evening and be safe in your travels back home. Thank you very much.